Multiplying by powers of 10. Power of 10 is any integer powers of the number 10, which means 10 multiplied by itself a certain number of times, which is indicated by the power or the exponent. The exponent is this little number to the top right of a 10. It is a number that shows how many times a quantity is to be multiplied by itself. We also call this a power, and it's called an index. The base of an exponent number is the number used as a factor. So this little exponent 2 tells us to multiply the 10 by itself twice. So that would be 10 times 10, as you see here. So we call 10 to the second power, or 10 squared, is 10 times 10, which is 100. 10 to the first power is the same as saying 10 times 1, or 10. But be careful, because you will tend to go 10 times 2 to make 20, which is incorrect, because 10 squared, that's like 10 squares by 10 squares. So if you took a square and divided it into 10 equal parts, whoops, I'm having a problem here, and you divide it into 10 equal parts, 10 parts going this way, and I'm going to go really fast, and let's pretend that there's 10 columns going here, and then we have 10 rows going this way, so that would be 10 times 10, which is 100. So 10 times 10 is 100. The power, or the exponent, tells us to multiply the 10 by itself 10 times, or twice. 10 to the third power, or what we call 10 cubed, is telling us to multiply 10 by itself 3 times. 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1,000. 10 to the fourth power is saying multiply the 10 by itself 4 times. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which is 10,000. 10 to the fifth power is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which you did 5 times, you got 100,000. 10 to the sixth power is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which was 10 multiplied 6 times, is 1,000,000. If you notice, basically what we do is the power, or the exponent, tells us how many zeros come after the 1. So this would mean 2 zeros, so it's 1 with 2 zeros. This means it needs 3 zeros, so it's 1 with 3 zeros, which is thousands. Or 1 with 4 zeros, which is 10,000. There are 4 zeros here. 5 zeros are needed on that, 10 to the fifth power, which is 1 with 5 zeros following it, and you get 100,000, and so on and so forth. And here's a pattern that we just discovered. Now, we need to know this information to help us actually multiply by powers of 10. Here are some rules that are going to help. If the exponent is a 2, we're going to move the decimal to the right 2 places. If an exponent is 3, we'll move the decimal point to the right 3 places. If the exponent is 4, we move the decimal point to the right 4 places. If it's 5, we move it to the right 5 places, and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at what I'm talking about. We have the number 15 here. 15 is a whole number, and in the number 15, the decimal point comes at the end of a whole number because it's not anywhere seen. So if it's not seen, that means it's a whole number, and the decimal comes at the end, just like what we saw in our chart when we were reviewing decimal place value. This exponent says 3. So we're multiplying 15 times 10 to the third power, which is the same as saying 15 times 1,000. So if we know 15 times 1,000, that would be 15,000. So basically all we need to do is move our decimal to the right 3 places. When we multiply, we move the decimal to the right. And since this exponent is 3, that says 3 places. So we're going to move it to the right 3 places. 1, 2, 3. And that's where our new decimal point goes. Now, there are no numbers here, so we need to put in what we call 0 placeholders. So if we put these 0 placeholders in, then our answer becomes 15,000. So 15 times 10 to the third power is 15,000. Next, we have the number 4 times 10 to the second power, or 10 squared. The decimal point on 4 is at the end of 4, so we'll put the decimal point there. The 2 indicates, the exponent 2 indicates to move the decimal to the right 2 places. So we'll move it 2 places to the right, 1, 2, put the decimal point there, and then we need to fill in the 0 placeholders so that we get our answer of 400. So 4 times 10 to the second power is 400. Or if you knew that 10 to the second power is 100, that's 4 times 100, which is 400. Now we have a decimal number 0 and 2600ths. So our decimal point is already here. Our power, our exponent 4, indicates to us that we need to move the decimal to the right 4 places. So we're going to scoop it to the right 4 places. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's where our decimal point goes now. Then we need to fill in these 0 placeholders. So our answer is 2,600 to the multiplication problem 0 and 2600ths times 10 to the 4th power. Now next we have 17 and 3,000ths, and we're multiplying that by 10 to the second power, or the 10 squared. So we're going to move the decimal to the right 2 places. So we will move the decimal to the right 2 places, 1, 2. And in this case, we don't need to put any 0 placeholders because there were already numbers there that we moved under. So our answer is 1,703/10. So that is the answer. That is how you multiply by powers of 10.